There are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed. It's as if they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult.
And these guys were deputized, Dallas PD deputized, and to do these kind of things. But they were totally cool, and they knew where I stood. I come from a military law enforcement type of family, so I just called bullshit on that. I said these people just don't want the message, But these shills always do what they do, and God love them. I never wanted to hear myself ever conduct myself like this in public. Unfortunately, I was forced to because nobody else seemed to want to take the war to these scumbags, and they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed. Bullshit. They are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed. Just completely bullshit. They are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed. After decades of being involved one way or another, listening to just the outright nonsense from the mainstream media, these politicians that are just totally and completely and utterly full of shit.
Is enforcement, right? There has to be consequences.
I'm sick of it. I got so sick of it. And watching what they've been doing in the country, I am just absolute full of shit. And that's why I had to turn into the Patriot Street Fighter. They are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed. None of this was planned. It was just a matter. I'm sick of it. They are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed. Full of shit. And of course, when the shills want to jump in the way, you know what? Same thing. I don't like to make enemies at all. I don't like to insult people, make them feel bad. But like I said before, when they're standing between the freedom of millions of children that are being trafficked and brutally tortured and stalked and raped inside the tunnels underneath that White House in the Capitol building.
Is enforcement, right? There has to be consequences.
And who have to be deprogrammed.
Is enforcement, right? There has to be consequences.
There are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed.